You ever feel like your financial life is running on a script you didn't even write? Well, it turns out you might be onto something. Today, we're going to unpack the hidden factors that secretly shape every single dollar you earn, save, and spend. I mean, it's the big question, right? We all know someone who just seems to get money. And then there are others who are just as smart, just as hardworking, but can't seem to catch a break. So what is it? Is it just luck? Raw intelligence? Or is there something else going on entirely? So let's treat this like a real investigation. We're going to follow the evidence from a major review of financial research to solve this mystery of why our money skills can be so different from person to person. Okay, first things first, let's get on the same page. When we talk about financial literacy, we're not just talking about knowing what a stock is. The research is clear. It's the real-world power to use financial knowledge and skills to make smart decisions that actually improve your life. It's a mix of understanding, confidence, and, this is the key part, action. I want you to think of your financial abilities as being built from a blueprint. It's a totally unique plan, shaped by a whole mix of factors, and it sets the foundation for your entire financial life. But here's the good news. Once you learn how to read your own blueprint, you can start making some serious renovations. So what's in this blueprint? Well, a massive review of studies, looking at over 4 decades of research, boiled it all down to this one number, just 7. 7 key dimensions that come together to shape your financial literacy. Now, those 7 factors aren't just a random list. They fit neatly into 3 simple categories, and this is basically our roadmap for today. First, we've got the factors inside you. Second, the factors around you. And third, a very modern twist, the new digital wallet. Let's start with that first piece of the blueprint, the personal equation. These are all the characteristics that are completely unique to you as an individual. The most foundational layer here, it's your demographics. Things like your age, your education, your job experience, they all create a kind of baseline. The research shows that, generally speaking, financial literacy tends to get better with age and more education, which makes sense, right? Life just forces you to deal with more complex money situations. You definitely handle money differently at 35 than you did at 18. But here's where it gets really interesting. The research consistently uncovered a gender gap. Now, studies show men tend to score higher on financial knowledge tests, but women often report having lower confidence in their financial skills. This suggests the gap might be just as much about confidence as it is about competence, and that lower confidence can, by itself, become a huge barrier. All right, next up inside you is your socioeconomic background. This is all about the financial world you grew up in, your family's income, what your parents did for a living, and whether you got any kind of economic education early on. All of it plays a massive role in how comfortable and knowledgeable you are with money later in life. And beyond all that, it's not just about what you know, it's about how you think. Your natural ability to solve problems is a huge factor, but so are things like financial anxiety, that deep down belief in your own skills, what researchers call self-efficacy, and of course, how comfortable you are with taking risks.
So that covers the personal equation. But, we're not islands. Let's zoom out to the second part of our blueprint, all those powerful forces that shape us from the outside.
There's a name for this process. It's called financial socialization. You see, you don't learn about money in a vacuum. You absorb lessons and habits from your family. You start to follow the social norms of your friends, and you're constantly being influenced by the media you consume. It's a learning process that literally lasts your entire life. And really, it all boils down to this. The financial world you're surrounded by shapes your entire perspective on money, and that can impact your attitude for the rest of your life. It's why some families talk openly about investing at the dinner table, while for others, debt is just seen as a normal part of life. And this influence can go even broader. The research points out that cultural and religious values can create entirely different frameworks for money. For example, in Islamic finance, principles that prohibit interest, or riba, and put a big emphasis on profit sharing, they fundamentally change how financial decisions get made. It just shows you how deep these external influences can really go. Okay, now for the category that is completely reshaping the entire financial landscape. This is the one factor that just didn't exist in our parents' or our grandparents' blueprints, the new digital wallet. And because of this, there's a need for a whole new skill set, digital financial literacy. It's one thing to know how to balance a checkbook, but it's something else entirely to safely navigate fintech apps, cryptocurrencies, and all those online investment platforms. Financial technology, or fintech, is really a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's democratized finance, making powerful tools more accessible and transparent for everyone.
But on the other hand, it introduces brand new risks and demands a whole new layer of literacy to use these tools wisely and safely.
So we've laid out the entire blueprint. We've looked at the internal forces of our own minds and our backgrounds, the external influences from our social world, and that technological tidal wave of digital finance. And all of this brings us to the single most important question. What are you going to do with this information? Because when you put it all together, you get this, your complete financial blueprint. It's that personal equation of your psychology and demographics. It's the world's influence through your family, your peers, and your culture. And it's the transformative power of technology. These three areas work together to build the financial person you are today. Look, understanding this blueprint isn't about feeling trapped by your past or your circumstances. Not at all. It's about empowerment. It gives you a map so you can identify your strengths, recognize your blind spots, and consciously start building the financial future you actually want. So looking at your own blueprint, the parts you can't change and the parts you can, what's the one renovation you're going to start today?